good people? It's your girl Janelle with Cope with Janelle. That's Climb Over Problems Every Day. And I am joined by my lovely 3 nieces. These are my babies. Oh my gosh, y'all look at them. I know they're cute. Don't be trying to inbox me for none of their numbers because I'm not the one or the 2. In any case, I digress. These are my wonderful nieces. We have Candace, Brielle, and Ashlyn. And today we are doing a segment on sibling rivalry. No, but we do want to get sibling perspectives. You see their faces be so serious. Hey, day, Brielle. Hey, day. Whew. Lord have mercy. Jesus. All right, so, but I do want to make sure that we have some fun today, but I do want to be able to give some insight to parents as well as to other siblings, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about how to handle conflict and what trust looks like, how one thing impacts another thing, or one thing can impact the whole crew. So, and some insight on parents to make sure that we're not punishing all for the hand of one. So if you have any questions or comments, y'all see the number right above. Please make sure you send a text or you can call in. It is 12:11, so hopefully you have warmed up your lunch and you have it at your table. We may go over the 15-minute limit today, but if we do, it's for your benefit. So let's get into it, okay? All right, girls, I'm going to just put a question out here, and any of y'all can answer. Feel free, all right? Tell me about the relationship y'all have with each other.
Okay, so me and my sisters, we're close. I mean, sometimes we have these arguments, but we settle them out sometimes. And we're all close and yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna put this out here. I did not coach them on what to say, so don't try to message me talking about you told the girls what this. Absolutely did not. Candace is and tell everyone your age so that everyone knows what you're doing, what we're rocking with.
I'm 12 years old. I'm 16. I'm 17.
All right, 17. And I am not telling you my age. You tried it. All right, cool. So I heard we get along in the events, that we do have some spats. We try to work it out sometimes. Any other perspectives, ladies, on your relationships?
We have a really tight bond.
Okay. I know I only have one sister. I only have one sibling, period, which is their mom. Because can't y'all tell we all look alike? You see that? You see it. All right. Anyway, but is it different with 3? I don't know. I mean, because at one point in time, it was just y'all 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, my lovely Candace came on through. But do y'all feel like it's different having 3 siblings or having 2 additional siblings as opposed to just one?
I guess it's obviously there's some more opinions in things. That's what I can say.
Okay.
It's definitely different from having one, because if you get into an argument with one, you have somebody else to talk to.
Oh, yes. Oh, true. Because when I would get into an argument with my sister, wasn't nobody else. Wasn't nobody left. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got you. There you go. There you go. It's back in. It's back in. Because see, that's because we love her. Okay, because we love her. All right. So tell me about these conflicts. What do the conflicts really be about? Are they even important? What do y'all really fight about?
It's really small stuff. Yeah, it's the little things that we argue about, things that we really don't need to argue about, but we argue.
What's an example? Of something that y'all argue about, because I know when I listen to Dallas and Charlie argue, my 2 children, it's who ate the last cinnamon roll? How many did you have? Or, can we watch the next episode of this? I don't want to watch this episode. What's happening? What is going on? So what are your arguments about?
Honestly, sometimes it's about taking each other's belongings.
Ooh.
And, let's say like if we took their clothes and we didn't like give it back, like that's something we would argue about. Like, oh, you took this from me and you never give it back, or like you didn't ask me for it, like stuff like that.
Okay, that sounds like grounds for dismissal. Like that's a whole argument right there. Okay. Um, what about when your parents like get on one of y'all? I remember, I will never forget this story. True story. Your mother and me, I don't know how old we were, but maybe I was like 4 or 5 or whatever, which means that your mother's 4 years older than me. But she was cooking something in the kitchen. I think she was making some beans. Don't ask me why we was just eating beans, but whatever. She was making some beans. And mommy got so mad with her because she was too young to be cooking in the kitchen, first off. But I'm pretty sure you know your mother, if she was cooking, that was because she asked probably a few times and it wasn't quick enough. So she was getting in trouble. And I was like, leave my sister alone. I was going in until mommy was like, if you don't knock it off, you're going to be next. And I was like, whoop, you on your own, sister. When it comes to getting in trouble, like if your parents are getting on one of y'all, how do the other siblings respond?
Well, sometimes we add our 2 cents in.
Okay. For the benefit, for the help of the sibling?
For the benefit of our sibling.
Okay. So what's an example of that?
Like I got not in trouble, but I said like a silly question, I guess, and Brielle and Candace, they were just like telling my parents, like, it's really not that serious. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when y'all did that, did the energy shift to y'all?
Yes. I'll be extremely honest.
Yes, it shifted.
Like, so let's say, like, if, like after we said, like, she got in trouble for saying something, like, oh, you don't need to be saying that just to back up your sister. Like, stop saying that. Or, like, if I say something wrong, like, I want to knock you out or something like that. So, like, the energy, like, changes. And
does that
it's like the mood.
The mood, indeed. Does that impact whether or not y'all are going to say something again the next time, or do y'all still just say something the next time?
Like if some like
I feel like
we won't want to say something again.
I feel like it really depends in the moment in time, especially it depends on the situation. Because some situations it could be more bigger to the extent where it's like I can't really say much to this because then I'll get caught in the crossfire too. Or like if there's like petty small tensions, that's when I think we'll both the three of us will say something, I guess, in a sense.
Now, Brielle, I know you being real quiet right now, and I know that is not your normal testimony. So I'm gonna ask you a question specifically, like when it comes to backing up your siblings. I know you ride for your siblings because you are my mini-me, especially in that sense. When it comes to backing your siblings up when your parents are getting on them, do you find that you do that?
I say what I need to say.
A woman of few words, but powerful. when you say what you need to say, do the results usually end up working out in your favor?
I don't really care what the results are.
Gangster. There will always be at least one gangster boo. Teachable moment here. Okay. I want y'all to be fully aware. For my parents in particular, there's always going to be at least one child that will test the limits. I know this because I was that child first off, but there will always be one that will, stand up for the cause. There's no pause for the cause right here. I'm just going to ride on through and see what the end's going to be. That's that one right there. Even though it may be challenging as a child, these skills are actually going to be very good for you as an adult coming up, especially within our culture and within the field that you are breaking into, which is not heavily dominated by females, let alone African American females. Oh, that's a pilot right there. Like, please understand, she already flies planes. Yes, we produce good stock up in here. But yeah, like the skills that she's presenting right now, again, could come out challenging when we're rearing. So it's really important as parents that we hone that energy in for causes and purposes that will be helpful not only for the child growing up, but for the whole household as well as the culture. All right. Um, every comment doesn't require a response from children or from parents. Picking and choosing the battles is something that I keep hearing. Oh, yeah. Did I get an amen? Did I get like a low key amen right there? I was like, yes. Okay. One of the things that I did hear was like picking and choosing the battles. Y'all were saying like, well, it depends on the situation. Sometimes if it's something really serious, I'm not going to get caught up in the crossfire. So I'm assuming that y'all kind of are there in the aftermath to pick each other up. Is that safe to say?
Yes.
All right, cool. Tell me about when one person does something and everybody gets in trouble for something that one person does. Does that even happen for y'all?
It's rare.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like something that's like from time to time. It's like not often. If like something like that happens.
Okay.
Like that one person will most likely get that punishment.
Mm-hmm.
But
and when I say like that, it impacts everyone. Like, for example, with Dallas and Charlie in the morning, Charlie is slower to wake up than Dallas, and so if we have to get to school early because of some activities that they may have, it's hard to get them both out of the car or out of the house to get into the car simultaneously. So there have been a couple of times where I have left a child at home, not unsupervised. Don't try to call DSS on me. The husband be at the house. You almost tried it. Don't do it. But I have left one at the house, taken the one that was ready, so that they didn't have to suffer. But there have been times where, if CJ had to leave to go to work early and it was just me at the house, that I have had to make one suffer and be to school late because the other one was late. When I say like when one person does something and they're getting in trouble for it, or something happens as a consequence and others have to suffer that consequence, sometimes it's on purpose and sometimes it's just, as a result of the situation. Does that happen to you guys? Like where multiple people will have to suffer because of one decision that one of y'all makes?
I think it just makes our parents double think about all three of us, I guess, in a sense.
Okay. Give me an example of that.
Say if I do something bad,
mm-hmm.
And like Brielle or Candace, they want to do something similar. Like say I went out with one of my friends and I was caught smoking weed.
Oh,
and my parents caught me.
Yeah.
This is just an example. I did not do this.
I know that's right. Set the record straight.
If Brielle or Kim's want to go out to their friends, they might double think that they're going to do something like that with their friends.
Okay. Parents, if we're being honest, we do tend to think that, the mind is not set up to forget. The mind is always looking for a resolve, something that will allow us to feel at peace or at least settled with whatever information we are receiving. And so because the mind is not set up to forget, when one child does something, it opens up the door of capacity. We now know that our children have the capacity to do something. And capacity is what sets up expectations. So if we know that there's a capacity for my child to smoke weed, then there may be an expectation that if I let my children out of my sight with other children that I don't know, their habits, that they could potentially end up smoking weed. That is what happens. Our mind looks for things to connect it to. So is it fair, though, that now Brielle and Candace can't go out with their friends because Ashlyn, in the made-up scenario,
Yes, made up
scenario, was out there doing something that she shouldn't have been doing? It's not fair. Does that happen from time to time? Yeah, it probably does happen. Us as parents, we have to remember that each of our children are individuals, and each of them will yield individual results as well. Tell me about how you feel, Brielle, specifically about, because you're in the middle. And so middle child, I don't want to say middle child syndrome, but middle children have a unique position. The oldest is the one that opens up the door for certain opportunities, and the youngest generally tends to be the one who is spoiled.
Clock it.
Listen, I can't say much because I'm the youngest. So, high five on that. Boo-boo. But I'm just saying. Brielle, tell me how it is being the middle child between your two siblings. I mean, because for a minute you were the youngest.
Well, to be honest, that time I don't really remember as much of being the youngest child.
Yeah. Do you feel like there are times where you are maybe overlooked, or where you just kind of slide under the radar?
Well, I could see that for all of us as a whole, just because everybody has different stuff going on. So yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because sometimes our middle children will just kind of be lost in the shuffle. The younger children tend to be a little bit more needy or need more because they are younger. The adult or the older child tends to be given more responsibilities because they are older. And then the middle child, depending upon like the age differential, is just kind of floating in this different warp, so to speak. Do you feel like you end up getting away with stuff, or that some things go unnoticed?
I don't know about that one. Well, obviously everything gets noticed.
Well, yeah,
but
I mean, you are of the Jackson lineage and the Belnavis lineage, so yeah.
I mean, will I say that all of our punishments collectively are going to be the same for certain things? No. But like,
okay, differentiation. Why is that? Let's pause for a second. Let's go there for a second. When you say all of our punishments for like a similar or the same crime are not going to be the same, like what's an example of that?
Okay, so here's an example. So when I was around Candace's age, right? This was when, what was it? I guess you could say I had a phone or like a what's it called? A device, right? I had a device. Candace also has a device. Now, usually when children get devices, they tend to get out of control with their new responsibility and tend to have like, their new freedom. So obviously, I was the type to take advantage of that freedom, and let's say go to sleep late on the phone, watching videos and just doing stuff like that, right? Now, this one does the same thing, but my punishment would be you don't get the phone until the morning. Like you get it taken away maybe once you get home from school or at like 8 o'clock. That's it. Put it in the room. You don't get it until the morning.
Gotcha.
She does the same thing, and there's not really a type of punishment for her.
There is no punishment.
It's just like a conversation.
The thing is, that's usually I stay up late. They never know.
Yeah, their stuff goes unnoticed. When it was me and Brielle, mostly Brielle, it would go noticed.
Like, I'll be honest, I stay up, but like I still get up in the morning. But like, because that's like how like they don't notice. Like I'll get up, Because like when I'm up later, I wake up better, and like they just don't notice that I stay up late because I don't have a type of difference when I wake up.
Yeah, but I don't think you realize when you wake up earlier, but you go to bed later, you wake up with a more crankier attitude.
What say you, Candy Pop? Is that accurate?
Probably.
Yeah. Disclaimer: this was just an example. No feelings were meant to be hurt. This was just an example. An example.
No feelings.
Okay. Listen, y'all. Oh my goodness. Okay, so, but there is a clear. This is really good information, though. Even though we may be using hypothetical situations, I will say hypothetical. But I will say that this is good information, particularly for my parents and even myself. You know, we run out of that steam or that stamina that was there when you had child number 1 or child number 2. By child number 3, you know, you on autopilot, it seems like. And so it's really crucial that we maintain the same level of energy or are consistent with the same level of redirections that we offer our children if we're trying to achieve similar results. What I hear is that there is room for resentment. Not saying that they have resentment, but there's room for resentment when we see that there's differentiation in terms of treatment or consequences allocated as it pertains to each individual sibling. And so we want to maintain a level of consistency. Even though every child is different and we have to approach our children different, they should not necessarily feel and identify some massive difference in terms of the level of consequence or redirection as it pertains to whatever behavior we're trying to encourage or discourage for that matter. And so we want to make sure that equity, hopefully my podcast won't get shut down. I just said the word equity. Y'all catch that later. All right. But hopefully, you know, all parents can approach child rearing with some level of equity and fairness so that everyone is feeling heard, loved on equally, as well as redirected similarly. Thanks for explaining this like sibling life. Okay, if there was something that you wanted to tell your siblings now, like something that you don't ordinarily say because we don't generally just give compliments or affirmations to our siblings on a day-to-day, unless your name is Janelle and Vanessa, because we do that.
Yeah, okay.
Don't be a hater all your life, Ashlyn. Okay, so if there's something that you would want to say to your siblings, what would you say right now?
I like your glasses, Brielle.
Wow.
Ashlyn's locks look really good. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh wait, it's you know, advertising my business, Ash Creations. Follow me on Instagram.
Shameless plug.
She'll put the link down in below so you can follow my Instagram. I do lots on Long Island, New York.
Shameless
prices
plug.
are very, very, very cheap. So, thank you.
Thank you for that. Brielle, is there anything that you would want to say to your siblings?
Nobody's hair is nappy.
Well, that concludes our episode for today.
Oh, she's being honest.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us.
Today.
Jesus. They said today. Which means tomorrow might be a different situation. Until next time, good people, y'all be blessed. And I will see y'all next Wednesday at 12:11 p.m. where you have warmed up your food, got your lunch, brought it back to your desk so that we can learn some different ways to cope, which is climb over problems every day. Peace.
Peace.